Late autumn, and the forest is quiet. The leaves are gone. The birds have moved on. Most of the living world seems to be pulling inward, conserving energy for winter. And yet, if you slow down, if you really look, high on the trunk of a dying hardwood, something impossible appears. Not a plant, not an animal, not quite a mushroom in the way we usually think of one. It spills downward like frozen white icicles, soft, cascading, almost unreal. For centuries, people who lived close to the mountains believed this strange growth did something no food should be able to do. They believed it strengthened the mind, sharpened memory, steadied the nerves. For a long time, Western science dismissed that belief as folklore, until it didn't. This is the story of lion's mane mushroom, Hericium erinaceus, sometimes called the lobster of the land, and it may be one of the most important foods we forgot. Long before laboratories studied lion's mane, it belonged to people who needed clarity more than comfort. In the mountains of Japan, ascetic monks known as the Yamabushi lived lives defined by endurance, long climbs, fasting, meditation, exposure to cold and fatigue. They drank lion's mane as a tea, not for pleasure, but for steadiness, for attention, for the ability to remain clear when the body was pushed to its limit. In China, the mushroom was known as hao tou gu, or monkey head mushroom, and it was treated differently than most medicinal fungi. Reishi was bitter and woody, medicine only. Lion's mane was food and medicine. It was eaten by elites not because it was rare, but because it was understood. For centuries, people believed that what you eat shapes how you think. Modern culture forgot that idea. Science eventually caught up. For most of the 20th century, mushrooms were dismissed nutritionally. Filler food, flavor without substance. That changed in the early 1990s, when researchers identified compounds in lion's mane that did something unusual. They didn't replace chemicals in the brain. They didn't stimulate like caffeine. They signaled the brain to repair itself. Lion's mane contains small compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and encourage the production of nerve growth factor, a substance your neurons need to grow, repair, and maintain connections. That distinction matters. You can't simply eat nerve growth factor. It's too large to enter the brain. Lion's mane doesn't supply it. It asks your body to make its own. Later studies showed measurable improvements in cognitive performance in older adults who consumed lion's mane regularly, improvements that faded when the mushroom was removed. The mushroom wasn't masking symptoms. It was participating in maintenance. Lion's mane isn't only interesting because of the brain. Nutritionally, it's surprisingly dense. By dry weight, it contains more protein than most staple vegetables, rivaling legumes. It contains antioxidants that protect cells from long-term stress. And unlike many supplements, it's still just food. No extraction required to eat it. No capsule to swallow. Just something you can cook. And it tastes nothing like mushrooms people think they hate. When prepared properly, lion's mane pulls apart into soft, fibrous strands that resemble lobster or crab. Rich, savory, almost seafood-like. It's one of the few plant-based foods that feels indulgent and restorative. Lion's mane grows wild across North America, Europe, and Asia, usually on dead or dying hardwoods, like oak, maple, and beech. It fruits in late summer through fall, and unlike many wild mushrooms, it has no toxic lookalikes, a rarity in the fungal world. Still, caution matters. Mushrooms absorb what surrounds them. Never harvest near roadsides, treated lawns, or polluted areas. If foraging isn't your path, cultivation is remarkably simple. Lion's mane is aggressive and cooperative. With a small block or log, a bit of humidity, and patience measured in weeks, not months, you can grow it at home. It doesn't demand land. It doesn't demand sunlight. It just needs space to remember what it knows how to do. We live in an age of distraction, short attention, cognitive overload, constant stimulation. The industrial answer is often a pill, a stimulant, or a prescription. Lion's mane offers something different. Not speed, not force, maintenance, A reminder that the forest evolved solutions long before we built laboratories to replicate them. This mushroom fed monks, emperors, and mountain wanderers for centuries. It didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because we stopped looking up and started believing food was only meant to fill us, not support how we think. Some of the most powerful foods don't grow in rows. They don't ship well. They don't fit a system built for speed. They wait quietly, on trees, in shade, in places where attention still matters. The soil remembers them. The forest remembers them. The question is whether we're ready to remember them too.